guys, welcome to another episode of The Open Creative with me, Nello. Joining me today, we have Josh Murphy. You might have seen him before.
Hi, how you doing?
And we also have not a special guest, but a new face to the podcast, Steve Eggs, Head of Design.
Hello.
And so seeing as November is known as Men's Health Month, we thought we'd get together and just have a little discussion on men's mental health, and just sort of unravel that a little bit and what we think some of the big issues that are still surrounding that are, and what we do as a company to sort of, help that. So I guess the first sort of note, or the first part I wanted to sort of discuss is, do we think men's mental health is still a big taboo in this modern era, or has it got better, worse? What do we think?
I think yes would be the kind of initial thing. I think it's definitely getting better. I think there's a lot more sort of acknowledgement of it, and then we can talk a bit more openly about it. But I still think there is that kind of men in the workplace, handle the stress, just deal with it, get on with it, and kind of there's still that sort of atmosphere around.
There's a big tendency, I think, that people just smile through it. I think, like I say, so many people put a front onto it and basically smiling through, but inside they're feeling completely different. And I think that's, you're still expected to be yourself. And when people see you, they're kind of like, they expect you to be just, if you're a happy kind of person normally, they expect to see you keep that up. And I just don't think sometimes it's maintainable. And inside, I think if you build it up, and I think people do, I think it still is a thing where they build it up. And unless someone kind of notices, or you notice yourself, it becomes an issue. And that's what you want to try to avoid and get out of, really.
Yeah. The biggest thing we've always said, or has always been said about men's mental health and the way our behaviours are, is that we struggle to speak to one another. We sort of struggle to open up. So do we think that's
so true?
Do you think that's
that is still very true.
I think it's the biggest. Yeah, I think it's one of the biggest things.
To be vulnerable is a tough thing, especially for guys, and to talk to other guys about it as well. And just anyone in the workplace is like, oh, I don't want to show that side of me, or I'm coming to work. And I think that balance as well of, we all have our off days. It is okay to bring it into the office, because otherwise it may affect your work and people might not know, and things like that. It's just the way it's done, and as long as it's sort of all open and everyone's respectful, and creating that environment where you feel like you can have a crap day in the office and still get on with your work and everyone's there to support you. But I do think that being open about it is still a very tough thing especially for guys.
I think it's becoming more and more supported. I do think it is there, and having sat on both sides of the fence, from being an employee and an employer, and when I've been in both situations, about some environments I felt were really comfortable, and I've had good friendships within the workplace, and felt like I could chat to people openly. And if you're having a bad day, you talk about it and chat out. Like another place where I felt really sterile and difficult to express how you feel. And they're kind of, well, what's like, they don't even ask what's wrong. Like literally, you're just ignored.
Oh, he's in a bad mood today, isn't he?
It's a shock. And then you kind of like, well, I'll get my head down and carry on and get out the door at 5, and then you're done on the dot. Whereabouts, like I say, when we're setting up the business, and as we've slowly evolved, obviously, like Steve, you're one of the first people in, literally, and obviously come on as a partner in the business. And it's when we've always talked about it, when we're trying to create that atmosphere and people within it, we want to make sure that the environment is a nice place to come to work. It's a positive atmosphere. You do have, don't know if we're allowed to swear on it, but literally got shit days. But it's that's okay. Yeah. And I think, like I say, it's I think that's what's really was really important to us as a family run business. Yeah. And obviously when Steve kind of was, when we really kind of like every person that came in feel open about talking. And one big thing we've tried to do is when people are having a bad time or having a bad day, is to us to notice and flag it and say, that's actually, we got like heads up, like say something's going on, or deal with that, or something's happening. So I think that's what's really important.
Yeah. So, and then I was about to ask, actually, you sort of said it really nicely, but what's your own sort of experiences of your mental health in, work life, but also outside of that? Not to obviously delve too deep, you don't have to go too crazy, but what is your like,
I'm quite open. I'm quite open. I think like when I was growing up, and I wasn't always, I'm lucky I've got a really good friendship group that we've always talked, like, and it's we've been really tight in that way. However, when I was growing up, it was very much, I played football and it was lads and chatting, it was very masculine, and it was, that was the thing. But actually, as you kind of evolve and grow up, I think for me, I kind of brushed it aside and said to mental health when I was younger. I didn't really think it was a thing. And I think as you grow up and life gets more challenging, you have more things to face into, you have more responsibility.
Yeah.
That's when it starts to build up. You don't. You sometimes you don't realise it, and actually, then it's like, and you can crack. And I'm not ashamed to say I did, and literally, it's something difficult to face into.
Yeah.
But I think, and everything, this is what I always say to my kids and team, is how you respond back to it and how you can evaluate yourself, what you've been through, how you can cope with it, and positive things you can do in order to counteract how you're feeling or to recognise how you're feeling.
And I think it's also that you're not the only one
Going through those.
that feels like that some days or that is going through it. And I've struggled in the past, and I now have like my ways of coping and dealing with that and getting through it, and through my friendship group as well, and people in the workplace is just talking about it and knowing that other people are going through that, and it's fine to feel a bit crap or whatever, and you just,
it's important to have that network though. Because if you're feeling isolated, I think that's one main thing I'd say, is to find that group of who
well, especially what we've just been through in the last few years of working from home, being isolated, not having
isolated away from
not having anyone to talk to and whatever, and coming out of that, some people have struggled to actually readjust and come back into the workplace, or they've really potentially maybe enjoyed being by themselves too much, and then readjusting to normal life, whatever normal life is these days.
I think especially so in terms of a personal sort of experience of, I massively went for anxiety probably about 3 years ago, not going too far into it, but what you were saying, Josh, about not speaking, and that for me is what built it up more and more, was the not speaking to anybody, not saying anything, thinking I'll just keep this to myself, I will deal with it. The more I thought to myself, I'll deal with it, the less I dealt with it. And it was weird. And the biggest breakthrough for me was literally, and it's the simplest thing, but I spoke to my wife and just said, look, I am absolutely struggling.
I'm struggling. Yeah.
The minute I said that, no word of a lie, like a day after, I felt like back to normal. I felt so much better just for speaking. And I guess like we were saying earlier, it's such a strange thing, because I think it's getting better, but I think with us men, like you were saying again, in the football environment, you was always, if you was opening up a little bit or showing a bit of vulnerability, he's weak. It's that mentality of, if you start to show a bit of emotion, you worry, what do I look like to other people? Am I still a man? Am I not a man? And I think hopefully moving forward, we are beginning to take that away, that stigma of I can't be vulnerable. I do think, especially like you're saying, in our workplace, we are doing an amazing job, not just us as men, but everybody in the team. Just the minute we see something, we know that someone's not feeling too great or struggling, we pick up on that.
And I think, sorry to interrupt, but it's the little things of just asking, are you okay? Just making that kind of that barrier dropped. To say, are you okay? It's okay to talk about it. If you're having a crap day, let us know.
What can we do to help?
And
in terms of, so going forward, I know this isn't good, we won't ever find a cure for it, but what would you guys say is the stepping stones to make things better? Obviously for everybody's mental health, but men's mental health specifically, what do you think we are doing as a company, or what can we do, or what can other people do? What would you say to those people listening? What can you change in your lifestyle?
I mean, for me, especially working at Sanders and Jay, is the kind of the flexibility of coming into the office, working from home, needing a bit of time off. I'm generally more productive being creative in the evenings, so actually sitting and having to work 9 to 5 at a computer being creative isn't easy, or what I do. So it's like
creativity's not good in a box.
No, exactly. So creating a working environment that is open and flexible to kind of not only benefit mental health, but also the actual work itself. So you don't then get stressed and start to bottle it up and go, I've got a deadline, I've got to design this by tomorrow, blah, 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 and actually feeling relaxed that I can do it later, or I'll switch off, or I'll go for a walk, or I'll do that, and just being like the kind of the balance of that.
Definitely. My thing's network. I think if having people that you can speak to, or literally see that, and I think by bringing people around you as a support group network, know that you can speak to people and try and identify that, I think is one big thing. But I think when we talk about like men's health just in general, I think, like I said, beyond like I said, just from the mental side, but I think what helps it is the physical side as well, in the sense of exercising, keeping busy, have different activities. Don't just bottle it up and stay indoors and at home. Go out and experience things. And I think the more you put yourself out there and kind of feel healthy in yourself, I think you feel better from your mind as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think inevitably, again, like we just said in that point there was really good, Steve, is like, I think just having that little conversation of, you know, when you pick up, you see someone in the office. I mean, especially when we work together, you know, 5 days a week, we're in the office, we see each other. Yeah, exactly.
Well, not you, but
I was going to say, for reference, Josh
for most of us,
is the co-owner, so she is in the office probably
24
hours a day. So but so seeing as we do see each other so often, I think we're very good at actually picking up. Actually, we can see someone struggling, and like you're saying, just a simple question of, "Are you okay? Like, can we have a little chat? Do you need, you know, not to probe, but just, you know, picking up on it, little things." And again, like a personal little note was, I know a couple of weeks ago, I, you know, struggled a little bit in terms of, you know, work, and not in terms of like overwhelming, but there was a bit of pressure, and I felt a little bit of pressure. And I didn't say anything; I just kept it to myself. But again, Josh sort of picked it up, and I had a little phone call to say.
I think that was from what I loved about it. Like it wasn't just me. Literally,
sorry, but
no, that's what I can't
take all the credit.
But I think it even was, but it was a team effort. That's what I loved.
Yeah.
Like in the sense of the culture that you create at a business and the people around you. Like it was, you know, it wasn't just, it was Jenna, Sophie, Steve, like everyone kind of went. And they can just start because they know the best thing I feel like we take time to know each other and get on, and then so you know if they're having a bad day, or we try to look at it, and then it's just a flag, and then it's how can we lift them up, like so we've got this little silly ritual. I say silly, but I
mean I loved it. I mean, so again, context. I said I had a bit of a tough week, and I had a little. I think it was a Thursday or Friday night. I had a little call or text from Josh just saying, "Look, open your front door," and it was a nice little care package that. Again, it sounds really trivial to some, but to me, absolutely raised my spirits, made me feel like actually I'm part of a team that cares and notices what I'm doing. I've been in places before where I've just gotten on with it, struggled with it, no one's noticed anything. And again, like we're saying, it's easy to say, "Oh, you should just speak up," but when you feel like you can't or you don't know if you should, someone being there to pick that up and just going, actually, we need to support this person at this moment in time. And again, that little gesture just absolutely raised me. I mean, the beers are still in the fridge at the moment, so I haven't been through them all yet.
But like, I think that for me, like even going out and doing that little shop, I'm thinking of like the random things. But it's things that are relevant to that person. I think, like I say, just by doing that little touch of the different things that are relevant, it shows the caring part that we do care. Definitely. I sent a message out to Steve and Sophie, like going, I'm heading down to go and do a little quick shop,
care package shop,
and then what sort of things should I go for? Like we put a few different ideas out there and grab them. I think for me that's the different. Like say it showed that we care, we value people that are in the business, and to raise, like say, to pick people up when they need it.
And again, like such a simple little gesture, but again, that showing that you care, I think, to someone means the absolute world to them in that moment. And as I say, it doesn't need to be a grand gesture; it just needs to be a gesture of "I'm here for you." What can I do?
You're not alone, basically.
Yeah, that's the biggest.
You've got support. If you want it, it's here. You know, everyone deals with it in their own way, but you know, just to know that. Just to know that if you want to talk to us about it or anyone about it, or you want time off or this or that, you know, we're here to kind of support and help that.
And I think that's probably the best takeaway from this conversation is that you aren't alone, and it is a team effort, not just work, but life is a team effort. Work, play, everything is a team effort, and just being there as a support and knowing that you've got people on your back, not on your back, but you know, but behind you supporting you the whole way is definitely the.
So we've linked it back to football, being men.
It was
be a good team.
It was inevitable to come back in some way. We won't go into that because it might be a little bit political.
I think my biggest thing out of all of it, like I say, is look after yourself, like in every way. Like physically, mentally, everything with it is like you, as much as you're caring for everybody else, like take your time to look after yourself, and then you've got the opportunity to look after everyone else. Because if you're not in the right place, you can't support everyone else's weakness.
And that's a very good point. It's all good helping others, but sometimes you've got to look internally as well and support yourself where you can.
Exactly.
Wow, really good conversation there. So
that's good. I feel good.
Yeah.
So this has been a therapy session.
I was going to say, it's been a nice little chat, to be fair. I mean, we do anyway. Like we don't just set this up for just the purpose. Obviously, we wanted to have this conversation, but I do feel we naturally do this anyway. So I thought that's why it's been so easy actually to do it. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. As I say, catch us on all the streaming sites, subscribe on the YouTube channel, and yeah, we'll be back with plenty more chats. We might get into a football one maybe at some point, do a little discussion of that. Who knows? But yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Cheers. Thanks.